Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories. I'm Irma. Here we are at ALAC. If you haven't been down here, you might want to come visit. The holidays are around the corner. You might want to do a little bit of shopping. Thank you for tuning in. We are now at the end of the year. We have covered so many issues with David Parra Luna, not really issues, but topics, and he has given us such good information. Salud, dinero y amor. David, what do you have in store for us today?
Well, first of all, thank you, Irma. Again, I keep saying it. I know I repeat it, but it's a very, very gratifying to do these kinds of shows. I really hope that people gradually begin to become so familiar with these topics that come the end of the year when open enrollment comes in, it's a lot easier to maneuver. I am sure that the people are getting lots of mail, and this mail correspondence is nothing more than insurance companies wanting your business. And basically, you're not in my plan. So look, I'm enticing you. Why don't you come to me? Buy my plan. That's what it is. Nothing wrong with it. It's part of it. I would just say that anybody or the one correspondence that they cannot afford to toss is the one coming from the company, insurance company, that they currently have their plans with. That is very, very important, because when a company goes through a change, maybe they're increasing their premiums, maybe they're no longer offering whatever service, they will send them a letter. So if folks, because they're overwhelmed, they dump everything, they might miss that, and they don't want that. So that is the one correspondence that they have to pay attention to. The rest, if they want to, they can shred. That's no problem. It's always a good thing, though, to review your coverage. I mean, in a few days, it's going to be my open enrollment, which is a little different than Medicare's, because, I'm with a group insurance through my employer, and I'm going to have to go through, not a lot of changes, not a lot of options, if you will. There are a lot more moving parts on Medicare than on my type of insurance, but nonetheless, it's important to review coverage. But let me also say that as much as it is important to review coverage, the world is not going to end if they don't do anything. Let's just get it out there, because it is a fact. That would simply mean that whatever coverage they have currently, it will continue come January of 2024.
You just took my question. I was going to say, what if somebody's happy with what they have?
Yes.
And thank you for explaining.
Yes.
Things will stay the same.
Things will stay the same. I am more than happy to answer questions if they call my number. It'll be on the video. But there is a resource that I believe it's even better when it comes to Medicare. It's called the Area Agencies on Aging. Area Agencies on Aging. We happen to be in Region 1. Why are they better than me in this instance? Because they have the access to the plans, which I do not. They can tell you what plans are operated in Arizona. They can review your coverage. Basically, see if there's a plan that is better for you. Things may have changed. Maybe you took on a new medication that is going to be more expensive with the current plan. And if you buy this other plan, it'll be at a different tier and therefore less expensive kind of thing. So it's very important to review the coverage. But again, if they don't, the world is not ending.
The last time we met, we talked about the ABCDs, but it was mostly ABD. Today, you said you're going to cover C?
I'm probably the only crazy guy that dares to say that whoever named Medicare Advantage Part C made a mistake. You should have never called it Part C, because then you are putting Medicare Advantage, which is an option of how you get your Medicare, in the same category as Part A, which covers hospitalizations, Part B, which covers doctors, and Part D. Whereas if you get C, you're getting everything. If you get C, if you read Medicare and You, the booklet that is sent to people's homes, it says there, A plus B plus D equals C. So people who opt for Medicare Advantage, they get all three, A, B, and D. That's why I refer to Medicare Advantage more as an option of Medicare. You have these two options, original Medicare, Medicare Advantage. So let's explain the difference. But before I do, let me just say that open enrollment runs from October 15 to December 7. And the changes, if you make any, will start in January. Let me also say that the Part B premium is increasing $10, roughly $10. So people who pay the standard premium, they're going to have an increase of $10. And I say standard because people who make good money, they pay higher premiums. You will not believe this. But whereas the standard premium is $174 in 2024, some people may pay as high as $500+ a month. Why? Because they're high income earners. So money, if you make a lot of money, your premium will be higher. That's why we use the word standard. And then the deductible will also increase. But the good news is that the increase is bad news. The good news is that Social Security is also increasing people's benefits, and it's going to be a 3.2% increase. Not as high as 8.7, which was last year. This is due to the inflation. That's why it's called COLA, cost of living adjustments, right?
Well, who do I call? Because I want it higher.
I don't think we can call anybody. They use this formula with an index on consumption, but the interesting thing that that is a subject in itself, because they don't consider the medications that people spend into that. It doesn't go into that formula, which we are fighting at ARP that it should. Anyhow, that's another story. But people are getting an increase of 3.2%. If somebody was getting $1,000, they will get $1,032. Something is something, or something is better than nothing, right? So let's explain the difference between original and Advantage. Let me ask you, Irma, you're on Medicare already, correct?
Somebody I know.
Somebody you know. Did you find it easy to kind of understand the differences between original and Advantage? Was it a little challenging? Do you know people for whom it is challenging?
It was challenging. I was sweating, and I wanted to make sure I made the right decision, because I knew I would be, so to say, locked in at least for a year.
Right.
So I went out and I found a broker.
Okay.
I said, explain this to me. So
let me hit the main points, what I consider the bigger, more important points in this comparison, right? Is that the network of providers. Original, Advantage. If you go with original, you have a nationwide network. Nationwide. Any state of the country you can go, and as long as they take Medicare patients, you will be served. Nationwide. This is good for people who usually own 2 homes and they live in 2 states. That works perfect for them, because then they don't have to be worried about the network. Advantage is what we have had through our work. So if you felt great and it worked well for you, I don't need to explain much, because with our grouping insurance through our jobs, that's what it was. A network, more reduced, kind of county, and that's what in Medicare is called Medicare Advantage, which is Part C.
correct.
So that's a big difference. If you live on a smaller or rural area, you want to make sure you have enough providers and that you can move out to a broader network. So maybe you might consider original. right? Because it'll give you that. So that's a big difference. Another big important difference, if you opt for original, keep in mind that Medicare will only pay for 80% of the medical bills, and you are responsible for the other 20.
Correct.
That is not good. I consider that a minus, not a plus. Whereas in Advantage, they don't have that kind of paid structure. You don't worry about the 20%. I don't want to say that they cover 100%, but they only have co-payments for the most part, and they are way lower than the 20%. So that's a very, very important point. Another important point is that with original Medicare, you still have to pay for Part B. With Advantage, it's included. So that's a plus for the Medicare Advantage. I don't know who's winning, but it's up to you. You tell me who's winning, right? Now, what is another in this comparison? Because original Medicare only covers 80% of the medical bills, in most cases, people have to buy a Medigap or supplemental insurance to cover for that 20%. And that is going to increase your premium. From 175 for Part B, now you have to add another roughly $150. So now you're talking about $300 plus or minus on original, but you'll be pretty well covered and you have nationwide coverage. If you don't want to buy that 150 plus Medigap policy, then you would take Advantage, and there you don't need Medigap. Neither do they allow you to have supplemental insurance with Advantage. I really hope I'm painting the picture, right?
Yes.
Because this is very important in people's deciding which one is best for them. You know, I honestly, if I had to sign up for Medicare right now, I would sign up for Advantage because it's cheaper, kind of relatively healthy, and I don't want to mess with $300. I'd rather pay $165. But things could change. Let's also keep in mind that this is very important. There's a concept called protection for pre-existing conditions. If you go to Advantage, no problem whatsoever. They will never deny you. But if you go to Advantage and later on in life you want to move to Original will take you, Medicare will take you, but the Medigap, the companies that sell Medigap insurance, you no longer have, after 6 months, the original 6 months, they give you a protection, but after that it expires, then they can be overrides, they can check your health and maybe sell you at a higher price or decide not to sell you a Medigap policy. So very important to get it right the first time. So it's a lot easier to move from Original to Advantage than what it is to move from Advantage to Original. So it's very important to get it right the first time. And then you have to kind of navigate on open enrollment, right? To make changes if you feel the need to do so. So there's that.
Tell us, David, again, the cutoff date when people have to decide.
Definitely. They need to make a decision by December 7th, October 15th, December 7th. This is open enrollment. This is not to enroll on Medicare for the first time. That's a different period. But for making changes, it's called open enrollment, and it goes from October 15th to December 7th. Any changes that they make will start in January 1.
And are you accepting phone calls from?
24/7. I really take this very seriously. I think in education and information is so critical. I take phone calls all the time, mostly on a daily basis. So if you feel that I can help in any way, my number's there. Give me a call and we can talk.
David, thank you once again. And we know every time we see you, you always give us good info. Thank you.
It is my pleasure.
Okay, guys, decisions. You might be getting a lot of mail right now and you don't know, am I happy with what I have? Do I want to change? You might want to contact David, or maybe you've already made that decision. But thank you for viewing today. We hope a little bit of this or all of this has been able to help you. Thank you for being a viewer in Arizona Barrio Stories. We want you to be informed. Thank you, and as usual, we hope to see you soon.